Hello YouTube, this is another Apple iPod review video, and in this video I'll be reviewing the iPod Nano first generation, which is pretty big, has its history behind itself because it was a very big risk that Apple took coming out with this product. As you can see here, this is what Apple called the sock, I guess, socks for your iPod or iPhone, and kind of like it. It's a nice accessory that Apple came out. And so this is basically the iPod first generation iPod Nano. As you can see, it's in black, and it's really small compared to the original iPods. And this one holds 2 gigs. You can't really see it at all, and I don't even want to show you because you won't be able to see it. 2 gigs on there. Right now it's dead. I'll just power it up in a second. And I will be using my Mac Tracker app to get the information about this product. So let me just simply get to it. Of course, this is a great app for anyone that needs to know a little bit more about Apple. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. Okay. Alright, so this was introduced in September 2005 with a 2 and 4 gigabyte, and the first gigabyte of it was introduced in February 2006. Discontinued on September 2006 and came out, of course, with the iPod Nano second generation, as people can suggest. The status support of this says it's still supported. I don't even know why. I usually would say vintage or obsolete, something like that. Colors, of course, came out in white and black. Those were the standard colors that Apple came out with before coming out with the rainbow colors, which I call it, which came out with red, graphite, yellow, green, pink, all that stuff. When it came out, the first 1 gigabyte was $149, which was a standard price usually for Apple products. Well, iPods in that case. For example, the iPod Shuffle first generation, the 1 gigabyte was $149. So yeah, 2 gigabyte was $200, which is pretty amazing because today the iPod Touch costs $200. Well, not the fifth, the third, the fourth generation costs $200, and that's for an 8 gigabyte. It's a 2 gigabyte iPod Nano, which was only made for playing music and podcasts and audiobooks and a few games. The 4 gigabyte, which was the biggest high-end model, was $249, which is $100 more than the first gigabyte model, but 3 gigabytes more, so they're worth their money. Software on here, Maximum OS, which you really don't need to know, is 1.3.1. The original iPod has 1.5 on it, so pretty big step. iTunes version is iTunes 5.0 or later, so I can use it with iBook, iMac, or Power Mac. Connections, you have the, you have the hold switch on it. My iPod also has a hold switch, but it apparently does not work. Don't know why. Of course, you have the standard click wheel. That's still powered on in a second. And this could get up to 14 hours of music playback and up to 4 hours of slideshow. So yes, with music. A little bit of the history. Let me see what it has. Well, let me see what I can remember of it. Apple had the iPod minis out for quite some time, and the iPod click wheel when it came out, which was the next generations of the original iPods. And so what Apple did, they said that the most popular one was the iPod mini. And so I'll show you a picture right there. iPod mini, which was introduced in 2004. It was a very big success for Apple. It was very popular at its time, and Apple decided to say, let's replace it. So, pretty bold step for them, because when something is very good, you don't really think of replacing. You leave it there until it runs out of popularity, and then you start replacing it, and so on and so forth. That's how usually businesses work out and stuff like that. So they decided to, give me a second. They decided to replace it with, you can see the Apple symbol right there, with the iPod Nano. Pretty bright this way. So they decided to replace with the iPod Nano. It was very big. It was introduced that day when it was introduced. It came out of the store. It came out in stores that day, and some places. But the iPod Nano today is very popular. As you know, the iPod Nano. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's 7th generation has come out. I'm pretty sure what it is. 7th generation. Yeah, 7th generation came out, and it's a lot different from what I have. The iPod Nano, other iPod Nanos I have this iPod Nano, which is the iPod Nano. I can't remember what it is. I think it's 3rd generation. Yeah, 3rd generation. And then I have a 4th or 5th generation. I don't know exactly which one I have, but the iPod Nano soon went to touchscreen with the iPod Nano 6th generation. And so, let me show you the user interface on this. Basically the same thing. Speaker doesn't work on here as other iPods. You have music, albums, the classic thing, even to the original iPods like that. Photos, I forgot that it has that. I don't have slideshow settings. That's what I have right now. I don't have any photos. Extras, you have a few. You have a clock, games, which is just breakout. Music quiz, parachute, solitaire. I really like music quiz because it's a lot better than the newer music quizzes that were on this iPod Nano, because you needed to download them and they weren't that cool because you really didn't know most of the answers. You have contacts, calendars, notes, stopwatch, screen lock, settings, and I'll right now just reset all settings to make sure nothing's messed up. So reset actually English, and then you're back online. Then we have shuffle songs now playing. So this is what it has. The charger looks a lot different. That's one thing you can notice. It has a little lightning bolt and just flashes green a lot. I'm gonna turn this off, and it really doesn't show it's charging. It shows it's charging. It just shows a lightning bolt and it's green flashing. So yeah, it's dead. So that's it. So of course Apple came out with the socks for these iPods, and they could fit most iPods and iPhones. Of course. I think I need 2 hands to fit this in here because really it's extendable and everything. But that's an accessory that came out alongside the iPod Nano. Let's see what else. Of course, this iPod was able to be used as a disk drive. You just need to enable disk use on your iTunes, and you can use it as another not a hard drive, a 2 GB hard drive, a flash drive. So you would have a 2 GB flash drive. You could configure it to get how much you want for storage for your computer and how much you want for music, pictures, and all the other great stuff that we love from Apple and the products as iPods. iPod Nano has come a long way from this one, which looks pretty. Doesn't look that old. Like, of course, I'm not saying this is old, but yeah, it is old. But this one does look like if it was made a long time ago. I've seen a lot of people saying that this looks like a TV set. Well, I don't know, they said a bunch of crazy stuff. But this one looks actually pretty decent and new, and doesn't look like it's been used that much. Because for the camera, you have, of course, not much glass. You have plastic, and you have the stainless steel back. But yeah, this is the iPod Nano first generation. It's 2 gigabytes on it, and let me see if I can get the model number. The model number is A1137. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, remember to check out my latest video on my channel, which was the review of my iPad first generation. I was meaning to do that a long time ago, but I did it anyways. So these videos will be posted today on the same day. So yeah, of course, remember to check those videos out. Check out my other videos. Rate them with a video, or any questions you have on anything. I would most likely know them, even though you can look it up on the internet. Usually you won't find much on YouTube. So rate, comment any questions that you may have, and subscribe. Your subscriptions really help me make a lot more better videos. If you compare my videos I have now from the first video I ever made, my welcome video, which doesn't get that many views, they are a lot better. So subscribe, it really helps me, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the iPod Nano first generation, 2 GB. See you next time.